And welcome back to Newsmax Now. The U.S. Coast Guard released video today of a cliff rescue in California. Rescue crews, as you can see right here, saved a woman stranded on a cliff in the northern part of the state. The National Park Service says the woman got trapped when she went hiking. A senior U.S. official says the Department of Veterans Affairs improperly spent $6 billion a year. According to the Washington Post, the VA violated federal contracting rules to pay for medical care and supplies. Jan Fry, the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Acquisition and Logistics, says there's a culture of, quote, lawlessness and chaos. The 27th season of The Simpsons will air next year. Wow, hard to believe it's been 27 years, but one of its main voiceover actors will be missing. Actor Harry Shearer tweeted that he wants the freedom to pursue other work. He also expressed his thanks to all of his fans for their support. Shearer is the familiar voice of Mr. Burns, Ned Flanders, and Principal Seymour Skinner. Some say the 71-year-old modeled his voice after former President Ronald Reagan.
I always thought it sounded more like, I don't know, a John McCain kind of voice than Ronald Reagan.
27 years. It doesn't seem like it's been that long.
Yeah,
but,
we were commenting. Third grade I was in when that show started.
But who's counting?
Meantime, the Vatican stirring up controversy after this treaty announcement officially recognizing the state of Palestine.
Yeah, the move upsetting to many, but former ambassador to the Holy See, Ray Flynn, says the move could lead to a more peaceful Middle East. Here's Newsmax Prime's J.D. Hayworth.
You know, with all the power of the United Nations and the international community, with all their money and their influence and military and power and whatever, they haven't been able to do much of a job in the Middle East in bringing stability and peace to that particular community, have they? And all the efforts have been made by presidents and a number of world leaders. But now Pope Francis has decided that he is, through humility and through truth, is going to try to move this peace process forward in the Middle East. And you know, I don't know if it's going to work, JD. I don't know if it's going to be successful, but I'll tell you, it finally brings a level of hope to the Middle East. And I think, you know, people are going to complain about it. Some people will. Not everybody's going to be happy about it. But in the final analysis, what it really does, it puts the moral persuasion of the Holy Father, but also the Catholic Church, and all religious leaders will say, will embrace this recognition of the diplomatic relations with the Palestine. Now, JD, one last thing. When I was United States ambassador to the Vatican, one of the first things that we worked on was having diplomatic relations between the Vatican and the State of Israel. That had a very positive, important effect when that happened. So hopefully, diplomatic relations between the Vatican and Palestine will also have a powerful, important effect in bringing peace and stability to the Middle East.
Ray, what do you imagine the reaction is in Tel Aviv tonight?
Well, I think there's going to be great apprehension, uncertainty, obviously, and that's legitimate. That's the way it should be, because they have a job. Israel has to protect their vital interest, and that is the security of its people, which they live in a very hostile neighborhood. But no effort has been successful, JD. Not the United Nations, not the international community with all its money and its power, and nobody is able to be able to put this piece together. And here it is, a simple priest who runs on humility and the power of truth has been able to do things that no other world leader has been able to do. And so I give him a lot of credit for this attempt. But at the same time, I know that this is an uphill fight. And so nobody should be disillusioned in thinking, you know, we're on the road to peace. But it's a great first step.
I was talking about
Let's
this
hope.
with a friend of mine at dinner last night, and he said, look, you know, this Pope has an enormous following, not just because he's a populist, so to speak, and he's taken some of these unique stances, but he is a pope
daring stance,
not
some
from,
might say.
He's a pope not from Europe. He's a pope from South America. And so he is more globally respected, I think, outside. And that is one of the reasons why he may have been able to do this move. But
I think it's a bold move, and I hope it works because that area needs it. But there's still always, I think, going to be that level of mistrust between Israel and Palestine. But I would love, in my lifetime, to see peace in that region, as I'm sure everybody would.
absolutely.
You think it can be achieved? Is this the first step?
I mean, I'm not optimistic in our lifetimes that we're going to see any kind of meaningful peace there, other than the brief
Spoken
pauses.
like a true Catholic. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I mean, somebody's going to have to take a different approach, and that is what the Pope is doing here. Will it work? Time will tell. Much more to come here on Newsmax Now. We're going to be back with more updates at the top of the hour, and we'll be here for the rest of the day here at Newsmax TV. Make sure you do stay tuned. We're going to be here until 4 o'clock, followed by Midpoint with Ed Berliner.